All right, we're about to get him back in here. He should be joining momentarily.
Hello.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay, all right, we're back and we're on the air. Okay. So you got cut off, your internet got snapped off there at some point when we were discussing. So all right, let's go back. So what I was asking you is if it takes multiple seasons and you have, a 43 and 21 record, which is understandably good. Aren't you a little concerned with the fact that some people might come after you for not quite having enough
Well,
numbers on
that
this
you have
account,
to
on
you have
this, on this go?
when you create a new site, you have to start somewhere, and it's best to just start when you create the site, because if you post stuff that hasn't there's no absolute evidence of, it's questionable.
So let's talk about
So
the site for a moment. How did the site come along? How you chose an interesting, you know, web framework here. How did this come
I didn't
along?
choose it. I choose nothing. I chose nothing. It's all on this other guy, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Okay. Is he in America?
Yes.
And were the people who made this site in America?
But yeah, believe it or not, these people are American as you and I. Yeah.
Do you have any idea like why they chose like what they
I
chose, which I
don't.
think is fight, which is like,
My guess would be that he's, not the more modernized, conventional type of web developer. I guess you could say he's just a
did
little
you pay this
obsolete.
person?
No,
Okay.
no, we have a separate arrangement, but that's yeah. I prefer not to get into that. So next question.
Okay. So approximately how long have you been handicapping sports, would you say?
Honestly, hold on. Let me just post something real quick. This Blazers game.
What are you taking right now?
Blazers -4 is the last play of the game. 3-0 so far today. Uh, how long have I been handicapping sports? I started when I was like 12 or 13. Honestly, I knew that I could
And you
predict
were in
baseball.
America by then?
And yeah, of course. I've lived in America my entire life. So
Okay.
yeah. And I was telling, do I sound like I have an accent to you? And
You
so
sound
I
like
was
you have a
telling,
southern accent, actually, which
I've actually heard
is
that
weird.
before. That's pretty funny. I don't know why.
Because I imagine
But
that your physical appearance, well, I've seen your physical appearance, of course. You don't seem like you would have a southern accent, but it sounds like you do on the phone.
that's really funny. I have no clue why. I guess it's just something that kind of comes and goes.
I mean,
But in
I'm
any case,
also in the East Coast and talking to a lot of people from, you know, here, so any type of accent like that sticks out pretty hard for me.
interesting. But yeah, to answer your question, about 12 or 13, I knew that I could beat baseball, so I was telling people that I could tell them who's going to win, and I just started then. And then I started betting illegally when I was 17. I opened up an account, and just been betting on baseball forever, man.
So when you were betting when you were 12, 13, and you were picking games, how were you getting bets in back then?
No, it's a long story. My friend's uncle, and also I had another friend. I grew up in a neighborhood with a bunch of kids my own age, and a couple of their families had like uncles and grandparents that were involved in this kind of thing. One's family, the one that's affiliated with. Actually, I probably shouldn't get into that, but um, so yeah, we went ahead and would kind of feed our picks to my friend's uncle, and then he would bet them. And then I think we were like 13 or 14. We actually got a payout of like $70 each and we are betting like $5 a game. And then, but my friend's mom refused to go ahead and actually give us the cash. She said she would take us to the baseball card shop. So we all went to the baseball card shop and spent our winnings there.
So do you think that was a good life lesson that you learned at that point?
A life lesson? I didn't learn any lesson at all. It was just a matter of winning some bets. That's how I looked at it.
How many life lessons what would you say is the best life lesson that you have been taught?
The best life lesson I had when?
That you have been taught in your life? Like if you were going to give your listeners a life lesson right now, what would it be?
I would say don't get too emotionally invested in anybody
In
ever.
any one person? Or is this like
Yeah.
a sports team or an individual, a significant other specifically?
No, just in general, because the less you care, the more smooth things are going to be.
Does this have to do with your last roommate, Tack?
No, absolutely not. That thought didn't even cross my mind. No.
Okay, I was just wondering. Okay, cool. So what's going on right now? You have another roommate. It sounds like you're searching for. You had someone look at the place today.
Yeah, someone is going to come in here sooner or later. It's only a matter of time. So just looking at viable candidates.
So what's the vehicle situation? Do you still have all three of your rides?
No, I don't at this time, and that's something that's going to be addressed very shortly. But yeah, that's something I prefer not to get into at this time either.
So are you gonna unrepo all three of them, or are you just gonna go with one car this time? Because I think having three cars seems a little ridiculous when you're only one person.
No, there's going to be a completely different plan set into place, and that has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. So we'll just move on from that.
Okay. Did you ever consider? I know at one point you were looking for alternative jobs type stuff. Did you ever follow through with trying to be an Uber driver, or did that not happen?
No, I haven't followed through on that at all. It's not really something that seems represented accurately as far as people and the amount of money that they make.
Yeah, I would say that's probably pretty fair. All right, so talk to me about your subscriber base here. What are you doing on an active day-to-day basis? You know, we see you make posts on covers and some of those sites sometimes to try and drum up business. What are some of the other strategies? Other than creating accounts on these sites, what else can you do from a marketing perspective? It must be tough to market this type
Well,
of thing,
I
right?
mean,
Because everyone wants to shoot you down. If you have winning picks, then if you're not giving them to people unless they pay for you, right? That's kind of a tough thing, right? People will kind of
well,
cause a lot of friction with that.
one way to do it is to give people, a 3-day trial. Just tell them, I'll give you 3 days worth of picks so you can win and see what we're all about. I know that I can beat all the competition out there. Hopefully, we can beat it during these 3 days too. Basically, if you go, have you ever looked at any of these other tout sites? There's people on there that have literally shamelessly have their win-loss record as under 500, and they're advertising themselves as a tout. It's astonishing. If I were
Could
to
they
ever
be
do that,
picking underdogs?
no, and I'm not talking. See, that's another thing. When I say 60 and 43 and 20, and people are like, "Oh, record is meaningless." I'm not fucking talking about skewed money lines. I'm talking about all minus 110s here. And people have seen that shit. They've
So
gone on there and looked at
so as
that,
part of the system now, only
Like
betting
how
minus 110s.
how retarded are these people sometimes? It's unbelievable.
So are you only betting minus 110s now? Is that another level of the system?
Well, on NBA and college hoops, yeah, it's 110 or less on there. Right now it's hoop season. So there's no baseball. So when baseball starts, that'll change. But baseball I crush worse than any of this stuff.
Why do you think that is?
Uh, Baseball just comes naturally. I seem to have a good idea of knowing when pitchers are going to go out there and have their stuff, have their good stuff. That's why I like to bet a lot of unders. I'm willing to bet on when pitchers are going to go out there and just deal against the opposing lineup. It's something that I feel like I have a good grasp on.
So one thing that has come up a few times is your ability to beat your teachers at math and to be, in general, kind of a math whiz as you were growing up. Talk about that a little bit. Did you always have an easy time in math class?
Well, to be honest, that whole thing was just kind of blown out of proportion. I'm not a math wizard by any stretch of the imagination. I'm quick with numbers, but I'm not like I never even took calculus. I did well in algebra, and I don't even remember that much of trigonometry. What was the other one? Geometry, I did well, but trigonometry, I don't remember. So no, I'm no right. You want to talk to a math wizard? That's not my field. I mean, I'm quick with numbers, but that's about it.
All right, so some posters PM me 5 math questions, okay? We're gonna go through them quickly. And they're going to be not too tough, but they're gonna require like an extra level of thought, okay? And so you'll understand when I ask them. And we're just gonna see live how fast you can get through them, okay? The first one.
Are you kidding me? You want me to do math problems right now? Is this
They're
a joke?
very quick ones. They're very quick ones. Ready? Well, if I'll ask the first one, and if it's too difficult, then we can just pass on this. Okay.
Dude, the other posters can lick my nuts, dude. I'm not
All
sitting
right.
here to try to accommodate them all day. You know, I
We're
don't
just
really
all
care
right.
what they want. They
We'll
sit
do,
there and talk shit out of their ass all day. I don't give a fuck about these clowns.
all right. I understand that, but let's just humor them. We'll do 3 questions. Okay. The first one, 12 and a half times 8.
106.
Okay. The second one, 9 times 11.5.
103.5.
Okay. How long did it take you to take out the calculator between the first and second question?
I never took out the calculator. I did that in my head.
Okay. One more question. 3 to the square root of 7 times 4.
That I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I don't even think that's a real question. I was just kidding. The math questions were kind of fake. I just actually made that up. No posters asked me that.
Did you really think that Did you really think I took out a calculator?
Well, the first question was 12.5 times 8. You got that wrong.
Which is 100, right?
Yeah, which you said 106.
Oh my, Mary Jane.
Yeah, it's all right. It happens to the best of us. You know, you were pretty close though. So, all right. One other, a couple other topics that did actually come up. One was cooking. And so what I wanted to ask was, you know, in what culture do people put entire unpeeled onions on the grill? Is that something that you learned growing up, or was that something that you created
Matter of
yourself?
fact, I had a roommate back in 2006, I believe, that cooked them that way, and they were really good. He would put them on there like that until they were like kind of mushed, and then he would peel it and put it in a bowl, slice it up a little bit, and add butter and salt, and it was really good to me.
And so that was something that you learned from that person, and kind of since then you've kind of taken it on.
I've done it a few times. I've just thrown a whole onion on there a few times, but to be honest, it never came out as good as I think I didn't cook it long enough or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Who do you support right now in the current presidential cycle?
I can tell you I do not support Trump.
And who do you support? Are you a Republican?
I'm independent, but I don't really have a major backing going for any of these people. Why? Which one do you support?
I currently probably support anyone but Hillary.
Yeah, I wouldn't support Hillary or Trump or Sanders.
I think Trump would be pretty hilarious, so I'm pretty on board with that.
I mean, to be honest, it's tough to go with any of these, in my opinion. But that's another story. I'm not a big politics guy, so.
So I guess so. All right, let's get back on topic now. So you have some subscribers. You made $2,000 in your first day. What were you expecting, or in your first 2 days? What were you expecting in your first 2 days? Were you expecting that good of a turnout?
First of all, I didn't make $2,000 my first 2 days. It took me a few days of putting stuff out there and putting some people together. It probably took, I don't know, week, I would say.
So it took a week to make $2,000. That's pretty good, though. That's an average of $100,000 a year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad start, but the key is you got to keep winning. If you lose, no one's going to sign up. You know, it's really simple. You know, no one's going to pay for picks when the guy is losing.
So what are you doing to kind of increase your membership right now? How many people would you say you think you have subscribed right now?
I have 15 or 16, I think, 14, something like that.
And are they all paying the same rates, or are some of these people paying for a few days, some are paying for a month, some have splurged for the whole year?
It's varying. It's varying based on individual and package, and you know, that's pretty much it.
Okay. And so I want to kind of turn back now into more of a meta discussion here and give you an opportunity to kind of explain how you feel about people in the thread. So you've caught a lot of heat on 2plus2 and other sites specifically. Who would you say are some of the worst posters on 2plus2?
You know, I don't really feel like badgering anyone. That's not what this is all about. I would say that there are several people on there that intentionally go out to try to get under my skin. There's people who are knowingly posting false information, and they know they're doing it. It's completely false. Yet they try to get a
What are
rise
some
out of me.
they're posting?
To be honest with you, I don't even really know what drives these people to behave the way they do. It's astonishing. It takes a special kind of person to be that relentless and just go after someone who hasn't even affected you in life. Have I really affected these people this much? It's just insane.
What
It's
are they
just
doing to go after you?
there's people changing titles of threads, people posting, people creating websites, people threatening me, people contacting my family, people making up lies and
So that
creating
actually
rumors.
happened?
Did what happen?
Someone actually contacted your family?
Yes.
And what were
You
the
think that whole thing?
repercussions of that? I actually kind
What?
of thought it was fake.
No, it was not fake.
I thought you and him were just in on that the whole time.
No.
Because
No,
then you
Larry.
had some fake poster. Didn't you come to this site and pretend to be like your own uncle or something? I thought that you and Jamaican thing was totally fake. What actually happened?
Larry, there's probably accounts on there that have pretended to be me that have stated things that I'm not even aware of. I remember leaving for a while and coming back, and there were people, like several accounts.
Yeah, one of those was
pretending to be-
definitely mine.
Pretending to be me.
I think I was
It's
the funny
one big it's one big clusterfuck, man, and it's a bunch of false bullshit information, and it's just
So let's go back to this. So this actually happened. Jamaican actually contacted your sister.
Yes, he absolutely contacted my sister. I've had talks with my sister about this.
And what did she say? What was the conversation about? What did he tell your sister?
I don't prefer to get into this, but
Did he tell her that? Did he tell her you were
told
fake hookers
I
and
told her that I
audio
created
recording it and like sending it into the thread? Is that what he contacted her about?
I told her that I created the thread one day at work when I was really irritated and literally about to get up and walk out. Me knowing that I'm a hothead, thought I should maybe get the opinion of somebody. I didn't feel like contacting anybody I knew in real life. I was curious to see what people would say, not to mention I was bored. Okay, so I created this thread at work and asking people, should I just get up and walk out of this joke of an establishment? Or, this is what's going on. I feel like I'm being lied to, this and that.
And so then
it just somehow deteriorated into like something beyond words.
And then Jamaican contacted your sister.
Yes, and for someone to do that is unfathomable to me. To actually step into someone's real life, like, have I affected these people this much emotionally?
And so did your sister read the thread?
I don't know how much of it she read. She claims she didn't read the whole thing.
Does she still read it, do you think?
I don't know. That's a separate one now, so who knows? I don't know. If she does, she probably thinks we're all fucking insane, and maybe we are.
Did she voice any concern when she was reached out to by Jamaican?
That's a good question. Not really. No.
Did she seem kind of relieved that someone else was dealing with things?
Someone else dealing with things?
Well, I mean, that you had found an outlet that you were looking for?
I don't know what you mean by that. I hadn't really found any outlet or anything to that degree. It's just a place where I was interacting with people, talking, bullshitting about stuff that just deteriorated.
So do you think this is it with you? Do you think that this tout business, NeemAdamas.com, is this the one?
I don't know. I'm not opposed to that. I know what I'm capable of doing if I sit here and really focus and handicap games hard. I believe that I can beat everyone out there in the industry. I know there's a lot of scams out there. I know there's people looking for winning picks, and I know I can provide them, so why not me? I mean, I love sports. It fits on many levels.
So in terms of, okay, so I'm just kind of reading some random posts and stuff too to see what to say to you.
Who cares? Reading their posts are like, you might as well just take a shit and look at that.
So who are good posters on 2+2?
Like I said, I don't want to mention anyone or I don't think that's what this is about. I think it's interesting that people on there are extremely inconsistent with their behaviors and attitudes.
Do you think that you've been inconsistent with your behaviors and attitudes there?
I would say that's a fair statement.
So do you think it's kind of a reflection of how you've treated others, that they've kind of come back around on you?
Unfortunately, that could be the case, and that's something I understand. I understand that I'm a flawed person. I don't deal well with trolling. I am not by any means a malicious person. I don't want to see people get harmed who I really don't believe deserve it. I've said things that I don't mean in the heat of the moment, but when you look back at everything that's happened, I mean, into the degree that has reached, can you really blame me at times? I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses here, but it's amazing. It's unbelievable.
Well, the reason I've tried to help you out before is because I do kind of see you as the victim in all of this, and I think that if people knew some of the things that you've gone through, that they would kind of be more sympathetic to your case. And I know there's probably a tough subject.
I'm not looking for anyone's sympathy. I don't need anyone's sympathy.
Well,
But
yes, I think
what
they
I
would be
when
more
people
sympathetic in terms of they wouldn't be vengeful. They would maybe
well,
be
yeah, I mean, when
balanced
people are
and not
threatening
as
to
mad at you.
create when people are threatening to create sites about me, labeling me as a scammer, so that if you type my name in there, Google, it comes up as Google. I mean, this is just unreal. This is serious talk. This is something that could really destroy somebody's life. So,
So
I
I
mean,
want to change subject now and talk about your time in Thailand and talk about your friend from high school named DJan. So I don't know if you know this, but DJan was pretty popular on 2+2 for a long time.
I am
And
aware.
his scam
Yeah,
was buying accounts from people on 2+2.
yeah, I know nothing about that, and I cannot confirm or deny it. I'm
So
going to
what
take
did
my
happen
best
between you and
ground here.
because I know that you've
Uh,
mentioned there's
and
stories and
I
there's
don't
things
hold
that
on,
he's
hold on.
done
I
to
don't
you.
think it's right. I don't think it's right to go ahead and discuss someone else without their consent. So I'm not going to do that.
What about times in Thailand between the two of you? Let's say it wasn't him, but there was someone with you in Thailand, and you've said multiple times that things happen there, and that you wouldn't talk to certain people anymore. Can you give us a slight indication of what some of those things might have been?
No, I never said that. I don't know where you read that. I never said things happened and I wasn't going to talk to anybody anymore.
You did, and it had to do with your passport, if you remember.
I never said I wasn't going to talk to anybody anymore. Yes, my passport ended up being locked in a safe, and I had to go through the embassy to get a replacement.
And that was really the only issue, or was it kind of he was forgetful and kind of not looking out for it that caused that?
No, it's actually he wasn't present at the place where we put the passport because he had a little personal instance that he had to deal with, and so I didn't have access to the place. That's all
So,
that happened.
so you one time you made a thread asking questions around pictures of supposed women that you met with in Thailand and asking questions about their actual gender identities. What do you think were the results that you found from?
That's a bunch of horseshit. It's just people talking shit on the internet trying to be funny. No, I've never hooked up with a lady boy in my life. Are you kidding me? Fuck no.
What made you? What caused the initial concern that you may have?
Because there's so many of them there, and for a newbie, it's hard to tell the difference at first. When I first got there, my friend actually played a joke on me. He said, "I'm going to introduce you to someone." I'm like, "All right." So we go and talk to this person who appeared like a normal Thai female. We walk away from her or whatever, and then he says, "Is there something? Did you notice something strange about that person?" And right then it hit me for some reason. That was not a female. Or it is a female, but it's a female that's had a sex change.
So, in terms of the people you met, how did you know the difference between them?
What do you mean? How did I know the difference?
You said that for a newbie, it was really tough to tell the difference at first. What like if some young enterprising male is about to travel to Thailand right now, what advice would you give them about this topic?
I would say watch out for the ones that are tall with big hands, have an odd demeanor, and some other like facial features that don't quite fit right.
And you would say that the pictures that you have kind of had circled the internet that show,
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know what happened with that. I think one time someone asked me to send them a picture, and I did, and the next thing I knew, they were posting it.
So
And then you know how that works.
would a large Adam's apple also be one of the categories?
Yes. Yes.
And so that doesn't concern you at all with some of the pictures that you have circulating?
I don't, no, it doesn't concern me because I know that I didn't do anything with these people, and it's just a picture, so it doesn't concern me at all.
Do you plan to go back to Thailand anytime soon?
No,
And so you're from Persia, that area originally?
which it's called Iran these days. Yes,
You're
Iran.
from Iran?
Yes, I was born there, and my family moved here when I was 11 months old.
And how familiar are you with Iran and their culture, etc.?
I've been there twice. I was there once when I was 12, 13, I believe, and then another time when I was 19.
Which part of Iran are you from?
Tehran, the capital.
You're from, okay, in the city.
Yep.
Interesting. And so when you came over here, what was it like? Were your parents bootstrapping it from the ground up, or did you have family here?
Family here, yeah. We had quite a bit of family, here and there. And I had a great childhood, with always surrounded by tons of friends, always with the same interests as me, sports, mainly playing basketball, baseball, that kind of thing.
Okay, very nice. Anything else? Anything else you want to get off your chest here in terms of topics on 2+2 and the internet in general? Things that you feel you've been wronged by?
It's really interesting that people point the finger at me the way that they do and overlook their own behavior, because if you look from my perspective, their own behavior is far more sinister and strange. I don't go out there and intentionally, maliciously, like, go after and try to affect someone in their real life negatively.
Well, who has done that? Only one person did that, right?
Well, for all I know, several, and there's other people trying to as well right now that
So
are
in terms of
discussing.
several, what else other than Jamaican? What else?
Like I said, I'm not going to mention anyone or anything. That's not what.
But you've been contacted by other people through 2+2 or through other forums?
I haven't been contacted at all. It's there for anyone to read.
But you're saying that they're trying to get in touch with you in
No, they're not.
life.
Well, yeah, there's people who try to get in touch with me on Twitter. There's people trolls from there, and and whatnot. They're relentless, man. I don't know if these people have no life, or if they're extremely unhappy, or if I did something to them where they feel they need to do this. It just defies logic.
Do you feel that online Keno is beatable?
No, I do not. There was a game that I found intriguing, and I just felt like discussing it. But I know that in order to beat that game, you would just have to endure basically short-term positive variance, almost as in any other gambling game.
And what makes that? Everyone's making fun of how I say Jamaican.
Because people love to just troll and be a little bitch and poke a stick and act like an idiot and blow something out of proportion than what it really is.
What else? What else would you like to say to the people of 2+2 in terms of reinstatement? Is that something that you would be interested in? Do you think you could be a valuable member of the community?
I could definitely be a valuable member of the community, but there's just too many trolls, and I don't deal well with it, so I just see it deteriorating immediately. It's just best to avoid it all.
And do you keep up a presence on any other online forums? You seem to get banned on those pretty quickly. Are you worried that PickMonitor might ban your account?
I don't deal well with trolling at all. And then what's funny is people then perceive me as a troll, but I never instigate anything. I don't go out there looking for an instigation ever.
And your current site name is the Prophet, I believe, on PickMonitor.
Yes, and all the picks have been put on there since the other one was suspended. So if you combine those two accounts, that's pretty much an accurate representation of recent months.
But not maybe any other PickMonitor accounts you've had?
No, and that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. These other PickMonitor accounts that people bring into the picture were just accounts that we created for handicapping, hunch capping games on the forum. That's all those were for. That's the only purpose those accounts served. Unbelievable that people would try to use that against me as well. It's just fucking unbelievable.
Didn't you have a couple different PickMonitors that you started off with outside of those bets though?
A couple PickMonitors outside of the bets that I started with. I believe there was one, the Bay Area Beast. I believe that one existed, and that one was suspended because of a run-in I believe I had with the moderator on there.
If you were going to put a number, an over-under, on lifetime accounts you have created on all gambling-related websites that have then gone on to be banned, like say people are going to actually, there's actually action on this, and they're interested.
You're asking me to make an over-under.
What would you say is the amount of accounts you've had banned from various gambling websites?
What you mean by account is just a forum posting account handle?
Yeah, so like on 2+2, you're probably good for like, I don't know what, 2 dozen? So
I
over
mean,
the whole internet,
well,
how many do
sure,
you
if
think?
you want to look at it that way, when one gets banned and then you just create another one to continue the conversation and then another one and then another one. I mean, sure, I created, what, 6 accounts in a period of 2 days, but how accurate of a representation is that? A real account stays for a long time. Those are just like sub accounts.
How many what would you think the over/under would be on total accounts banned?
I don't really know, and I don't see how it's significant. On just 2+2 or all forums?
On all the internet,
I would say 20, 25, maybe 20.
including 2+2, only 25, 20. There's no way. 2+2 alone is good for probably 30.
I don't know about 30, but in any case, like I said, I'm not even sure which ones to count because some are so extremely temporary. One gets one post in and it gets deleted. It's like
Count that.
I don't know, man. 40.
Because I think covers
Doesn't matter.
has threads with like at least 6 or 7 of your names, I think.
I don't know about that. Maybe 5 or 6. I've had a few covers handles over the years. I never use them for scamming. They get banned because I just have run-ins with people and they ban me. That's it.
Would you consider touting your services under new names that you create a form of marketing?
Would I consider touting my service under what? Say that again.
So if you go and create a new name right now on covers and you post,
Okay.
hey, I've found this new tout, I mean, I could read word for word one
Yeah,
of your.
as far as I know, that's allowed. You're allowed to tout your own service. Is it, or aren't you allowed? I'm not breaking any rules by doing that.
When you do it, you sometimes kind of act like it's not you who's doing it, though. You kind of almost act like, hey, here's a person I found, which kind of implies it isn't you, though. I think they might not allow that.
The original account under that original name has been banned. That's the only reason. If I had an account under my own name, of course I would just tout myself, and I've done that.
So what do you think is the biggest challenge in your activities that doesn't allow you to have a long storied history on any one given account?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I was distracted for a minute.
Sure. What do you think the reason is that you've never been able to kind of sustain a single internet presence on one account, that they've kind of always consistently been banned?
It's because it's the same reason why there's an angry mob on 2+2. It's because it just deteriorates into a troll fest, and I do not deal well with that. I just get pissed off. And I'm a hothead, I guess. And I just get angry.
Who do you think is responsible for 9/11?
I know who is responsible for 9/11.
Who is that?
That's not something we should get into right now. That's another thing. People are so fucking unbelievably ignorant on this fact. It's just unbelievable.
What other conspiracy theories do you believe in?
It's not a conspiracy theory. That's what's so funny. The whole 9/11 thing, it's not a conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory is what the government told us, man.
So the government, so if I grew up with someone, say, this is theoretical, right? But say that like a neighbor of mine growing up was an air traffic controller who was listening into one of the flights. Do you think that person was also in on it?
See, there's so much information that's misrepresented. For all we know, there might not even have been an air traffic controller that supposedly heard this thing. It was entirely fabricated. There might not have needed to be somebody to fill those shoes. For all we know.
So, in terms of this view, you understand this is kind of a divisive topic. Do you think that some people would be uncomfortable with taking pics from someone who believes 9/11 is a grand conspiracy?
That's a completely separate issue and absolutely retarded. One has absolutely nothing to do with the other. There's plenty of credible people out there who believe that 9/11 was in fact an inside job. You can go ahead and research these people online. There's dozens of professors, architects, whatever, legends in their field. People are a lot smarter than you and me who believe that 9/11 was an inside job. There's people who know that it was. It's one of those things where you have to go out and look for this information. It's not going to come find you.
So how are you able to find it?
It's really funny how people go ahead and declare things without just even doing proper research and then just citing what they heard on CNN, because Lord knows the government doesn't have anything to hide and never has.
So you cite crazy conspiracy websites, and those are better than CNN?
No, I'm not citing conspiracy crazy websites. I'm citing absolute footage, actual footage, stuff that doesn't make sense, common sense. You know, this guy's passport was found on the ground, but they can't find the black box of the plane. Are you out of your fucking mind? You know, the guy's passport flew out of the plane and lands on the sidewalk. So paper is impervious to fire of that temperature, but the black box melted though. You know, that's just one thing. Why did Building 7 fall? You know, there's a million things that make no sense.
What are some other popular things that you think may have been deceived? We've been deceived on. Do you think that human beings have ever been to the moon?
That's another issue that you know, I didn't see it happen. It wouldn't surprise me if NASA covered that entire thing up, but I would say that on that, I don't have enough information to take a stance either way.
So if you were going to, gun to your head, which side should you take? Would you take
That's
we did go to the
that's
moon,
a
or we
tough
did
one.
not go to the moon?
That is a tough one. That is a very tough one. I know that the government is intentional of great deceit. It wouldn't surprise me if the entire thing was a lie. It wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Is there anything else that I may be taking for granted that actually didn't happen?
What do you mean?
Are there any other, things that in terms of space landing, in terms of 9/11, are there other common things that people believe is true that actually weren't true that you're aware of that you might want to bring up right now?
Not really. I think the Sandy. There's a lot of people who believe Sandy Hook was a complete fabrication. I haven't seen enough evidence to point in either way either at all. So I'm totally undecided on that because I just don't have enough information. I'm not going to sit here and accept what I heard on the news. You know, show me some evidence, and I'll be the first to embrace it.
So do you think that these kind of abstract thoughts that you're capable of benefit your sports picks?
Possibly, possibly. I would say I'm very analytical for sure, and that does help. I looked at both sides for sure, and I would say that's a fair statement.
Do you see yourself venturing back into parlays at all?
No, unless it's baseball parlays and I'm in Nevada
And why in Nevada?
because you get paid immediately when the game's over. Fuck online sports books where you gotta wait weeks for it to.
Are you only making picks right now for other people? Or are you betting these picks yourself?
I am currently betting these picks myself as well. Yes.
And what do you consider a unit?
I consider a unit $75 right now.
Okay, and so this is every unit every game you're only doing one unit at a time?
I'm doing my best to exercise solid bankroll management. So yeah, I'm just keeping it real minimal for now.
So by doing your best, how many times do you think you've slipped here?
There's been some instances. I'm not gonna lie. It's difficult, man. It's difficult. Picking winners is the easy part. You know, don't judge someone by their chasing method. Just judge how many they can hit against -110 on the long run. You know, what percentage are they hitting against the spread in the long run?
So so I've gotten some backup here since we've been on this call that the site did go live on February 1st. So I don't know if it was a technical difficulty or what, but apparently 3 picks did go missing, which is kind of unfortunate.
That's a total lie. The first picks, after the first day, we were 1-2. I even remember the picks. That is a total lie. Whoever said that is lying to you. If you don't believe me, you can ask my associate. I can put you in touch with them. I mean, I don't know how you'll take, if you don't take my word for it, you won't take theirs either. But that is an absolute lie and nothing else. I swear to you.
If that was found out to be true, what do you think the repercussions would be to your subscriber base?
It's not true because it never happened. I know for a fact we didn't put any sites up and then delete them. I know for an absolute fact. I'm not even going to address this topic any further.
So when are you putting these picks up? Do you put them up the day after?
We put them up. No, we put them up minutes after the game goes off the board. As a matter of fact, at first, I'm very unfamiliar with coding, so I needed him to do it, but he wasn't always around. So we came up with, okay, if he can't do it, I got to post it on Twitter within 10 minutes. So there's only been a couple instances where I didn't post them on Twitter. You can go on the WagerMind site and see every post that I've made, every pick I've made there as well. So there's transparent from several different angles. You know, once again, people are sitting there fucking lying, trying to make me look bad. And this is the kind of shit that pisses me off because I know they know they're fabricating. I know 110% that never occurred. Someone is literally fabricating this. What kind of person would do that?
Okay, so I have another question. The famous bet you made, where you bet $2,500 to win 25.
Oh
on
God,
Tony
are you
Romo and
kidding
the
me? No,
Cowboys?
of course that wasn't real. Are you fucking kidding me? No.
Why did you make it seem like that was a real bet at the time?
It was a joke. It was just a complete joke at the time. I don't remember what the motivation was, but yeah, I didn't do that. That's ridiculous.
Do you remember melting down for 2 days after that post was made and not showing up?
I don't remember at all. I think I was just busy and went to work, and other people probably twisted it in their own head as me like jumping off a bridge or something.
But you never made a bet at negative 1250 or whatever the hell that was.
I've made bets at -1,000 before, but not on that time. No.
So, what's the worst bet you would say you've ever made?
The worst actual wager I've ever made with real money.
Yep.
By I don't know, maybe like a $500 parlay when I was in Vegas a few years ago or something. Just a three-teamer that I had 2 out of 3 on that I wish I would have straight bet. Probably one of those. I don't know.
So going back to that Romo bet that you said was fake, were all of the bets in that thread fake?
I don't remember, to be honest with you. Probably. If that one was, then they'll probably were.
Because there were a lot of accusations in that thread that you were betting air the entire time, and that was absolutely a fake bet, and that none of them happened. But you
Yeah,
defended that. You defended that you were betting air pretty hardly. But I mean, it sounds like now you probably were betting air that entire time. Was that just trolling?
possibly at the time. To be honest, that whole situation was just kind of phasey. I was just messing around for some reason, just joking around. Yeah. It got taken way out of context, so as things usually do.
Okay. What do you think in terms of the current strategy with Nemadamas.com, et cetera? What do you think is the next iteration here? Are you just going to continue what you're doing? Is what you're doing right now sustainable for your lifestyle, or are you trying to grow this?
Yeah, I'm trying to grow this. I mean, if I keep winning, I don't see why it won't grow. Like I said, baseball is what I specialize in. Something that I would like to make clear is, people who are involved in sports are very competitive oriented people. I'm certainly not lacking in that at all. I'm too competitive, extremely to a fault. And that's why I really benefit. My personality really benefits from this line of work because it brings out the best in me. It brings out my competitiveness. I want to beat the competition. I want to make sure that people win. I get really upset when the picks lose. Really upset. I really do. I want every single pick that I give out there to win. I sit here and I handicap my ass off to come up with winners, and it's been working. I know I can sustain it.
And what are some of the strategies that you come up with to pick these winners?
I do a lot of handicapping. I watch lines. I look at field goal percentage. I look at defensive field goal percentage. I look at how many turnovers a game this team has. Shooting, is this team a good free throw shooter? Home and away, trends. How many of for some reason, when these two teams show up on the same floor, 90% of the time it goes under. Why is that? Is that a trend that's going to continue? Does it fit along with the line movement, the under? Does it fit along with the fact that this team, plays really well defensively at home? When everything fits into the equation on one side, then you pull the trigger.
So is it kind of safe to say that your mind functions kind of like an algorithm?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
That you input a lot of varied data sources into your mind, and even though you can't really compare, one number might be that these two teams have combined to go under the point spread, under the point total, 90% of the time, and then also that this year one team has a higher field goal percentage. Those two numbers don't have a direct correlation, but when you input a lot of information like that into your mind, you almost see the game happen before it happens.
I don't see the game happen before it happens. That's happened to me only a few times where I actually felt like I had the final score before it happened. It was like a strange premonition, and oddly enough, honest to God, twice I was right. One of them was the 2002 All-Star game in baseball, and the other one was Game 7 of the World Series. I asked my friend. I told him it's going to be 3-2 Giants. I swear to God, I told him that. And Bumgarner, that was the game he got his third win of that series.
And so, do these premonitions get factored into your picks, or is this just something kind of on the side?
No, this rarely happens. I'm telling you, this has happened like 2 or 3 times in my life. But I seem to have a feel though sometimes, and I just have this strong feeling that I'm right, and it usually works out.
Would this be? Do Do you think this is kind of like your mind functioning in an algorithmic way, and one of the inputs is kind of like an ESP type element?
I don't know. Although sometimes I've wondered if I have a bit of ESP. I don't really know what ESP is, to be honest with you, extrasensory perception. But what does that really mean? I don't know what if I have that or not. But sometimes it feels like I do have some kind of something.
And describe that. What is that? What is that something?
I don't know, man. I'll just have a really strong feeling that today the Giants are going to win. Today the Giants are going to win. I know for a fact the Giants are going to win. Maybe it's because I've been a huge fan since I was 5, 6 years old. And I've just watched so much Giants baseball that subconsciously I'm aware of like the team is striding on all cylinders right now. It's going to happen. They're about to hit their stride.
Don't those
That's
seem more like conscious thoughts?
Yeah. I can just sense it though. Like it's something that I think I can benefit enormously betting baseball.
That you can benefit enormously by using your ESP to benefit baseball?
I'm not trying to claim that I have ESP. I'm not sure if that's an accurate representation before we get absolutely blasted here. I don't know but it seems that I do have some kind of other awareness at times. I don't know how to formulate it into words. I don't even know what it is.
Have you ever had any type of territorial? I can't even say the word right now. Alien type encounters in your life, or something that you thought was kind of strange? Anything you've seen before, UFOs, etc.?
No, I haven't, but it's a subject that it's a subject I've always been fascinated with, though. And as a matter of fact, I'm kind of everyone I know knows that.
And you don't think you've ever been abducted or anything like that?
No, I don't think I've ever been abducted. No.
Do you think you've ever seen a UFO or anything like that?
I have personally never seen a UFO.
All right, Babs. Well, I am getting kind of tired here, and it seems like the thread. Let's give the thread a moment to catch up and see if they have any questions. But I think we may be signing off here kind of quick. But we have 25 viewers right now, which is cool. So people are tuning in live to this, and then we'll give them 30 seconds to refresh 2+2 and see if we have some good questions. But then if not, we can head out here on our way. Anything else? Any final words that you have? Any final shots you'd like to take?
Not really. I think we pretty much covered everything.
Do you feel like you've set the record straight?
I hope so. This is certainly no scam. That is absolutely preposterous. But people are free to believe whatever they want. If you're gonna call what I'm doing a scam, you're calling every tout service out there a scam.
And are some tout services scams?
I'm sure there is. Absolutely.
Would you say the majority of them are?
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't know. I don't have enough information.
So, Babs, are you a generally charitable person? Because one of the things that I'm confused of with tout services is, in general, what would benefit someone giving away these picks for free if they could be betting on them?
What do you mean I'm not giving them away for free?
I mean, sorry, like giving them away for a relatively low cost.
What could be the benefit of that?
Versus betting them yourself.
Why can't you do both? But if you bet on them yourself too, you're opening yourself up to possible bankroll management or tilt issues.
And so you benefit from someone who doesn't have much of a bankroll in just giving and selling the picks?
Yes, I have the ideal personality to do that. Absolutely ideal personality.
Because you're bad at bankroll management but good at picking?
Yes, a good picking, bankroll management, and someone who has a tendency to chase has nothing to do with bad handicapping. I have yet to one day since I've been a tout throw out a pick that wasn't on the original card because it was a losing day. Never.
Is that a problem you've faced in the past?
Absolutely. If I'm betting my own money, if I was down money, I would just throw it on the last game on the board to get my money back. Of course, that's a problem I've had in the past. That's a problem 99% of sports bettors probably have.
And you think that you've overcome that with this new tout service?
Absolutely.
So let's talk for a quick second about your last job. So there was a lady there that was pretty attractive that you thought.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about this at all.
Is this still someone that comes across your mind?
I'm not gonna talk about this at all. No, the answer to that is no.
You haven't tried to reach out to this person at all?
No, I haven't, and I don't intend to. No.
if they reached out to you, would you be shy about it? Would you be open to it?
I have no idea. I haven't thought about that. I'm focused on handicapping sports.
So Jamaican had a question here that said asked why the original Pick Monitor account had a 59% win rate with average odds of -150. Is that something that you were aware of?
I believe so. It was because of baseball. That's how baseball juice is. Sometimes you bet.
I think his internet just got snapped off again. And this kid's boring, so I'm going to call it. Good night, everyone. Hasta la vista.